Musketeers, and welcome to Mondays with Mickey. My name is Mike Knickie, and I am your host, and this is the week of February 1st, 2016. This week we'll be talking about Disney's Epcot, and specifically our trip back in 2015, where we visited the World Showcase. But before I get into that, I do have some news. Unfortunately, all negative news, but very important news nonetheless, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm going to start off with an incident this past week over at Disneyland Paris. Unfortunately, this is a piece of international news that's negative, but again, it was kind of important. I wanted to share it. A gentleman attempted to enter the Disneyland park with 2 guns, a box of ammunition, and a copy of the Koran. Now, Disney security, when he went through the metal detectors, noticed what was going on and quickly subdued him. No one was injured. No shots were fired or anything of that nature, but he was taken into custody quickly and arrested. Now, we don't know details as to what his plans were, but with 2 guns and a box of ammo, I think his plans were pretty clear. It's very disappointing to see that anybody that extreme would feel the need to attack a place filled with children and families. Even if they're going after cast members, they'd still be shooting people in front of children. Now, I understand the need for political statements, okay? I get that these extremists feel that they need to send a message to the governments of the world, but attacking children, that's pitiful. And if you want to make a statement, make it to the government, not to the citizens, not to people who had nothing to do with anything. Although I'm bummed that Disney feels that, has felt the need to bump up security and adding metal detectors and adding visible security, I am, however, happy that this bump that they've made has proven fruitful. So I am glad to know that I can walk into a Disney park and know that Disney's got it handled. I don't have to be fearful of being attacked. I don't have to be fearful of being injured by somebody in the park, because Disney's on top of things and they see when when somebody attempts to bring weapons in, and they handle it. So although this is a very negative piece of news that someone felt the need to do something like this, it is also a positive piece of news to know that Disney is on top of security and that we can feel safe in the parks. So the other piece of negative news is nothing as serious, but it's definitely kind of disappointing. Now, I've been commenting on all the changes that are coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. The fact that they're going to rebrand it, they're closing a bunch of things. I've even talked about a few openings. This piece of news I just got today, as a matter of fact, just kind of kicks me in the stomach. On February 6th, the new Club Disney, the thing that I was talking about that had a party-type atmosphere, air-conditioned indoors. They'll be doing special events, Club Villain, where you get to meet all the villains. And they just opened it like a month and a half ago. Is going to be closing on February 6th. So this thing's going to be open like a month and a half, and then they close it. Now, the rumor is it might reopen for, the peak seasons when they've got a lot of people in the park. But for now, they're closing it. Now, I'm pretty bummed about this. I was happy that they actually opened something and added something new for guests to check out while they're there, considering they're closing most of the park. I was excited about Club Villain, because meeting some of these villains is really, really tough. And I thought it was a fantastic opportunity to go in and meet these villains. And I was really looking forward to checking it out when I went there in September. But apparently that's not going to be an option. Hopefully they'll have it open. If they do the seasonal thing, hopefully it'll be open in September. But for the moment, it's gone. Well, it will be gone as of February 6th. So if you've been wanting to check it out, but you've been kind of dragging your heels, or, it's something that, you want to check out, you just haven't had an opportunity, or whatever it is, whatever the case may be, if you're there, stop into Club Disney, because it's not going to be around much longer, and it looks like a fantastic party every day. It's free, it's part of your admission, it's a nice place to cool off from the Florida heat. So check it out while you can, because it's not going to be around much longer. So with that said, I've got a quick video here for you talking about World Showcase. I'm going to let you guys take a look at it, and we'll be right back. well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. A lot of musical stuff in there, a bunch of pictures. Hope you enjoyed. So, with World Showcase, it is a amazing piece of Walt Disney World. When they originally, again, like I said last week, when they were originally designing Epcot, they were designing Future World and World Showcase to be separate parks. And, the Future World essentially being close to what Walt's original vision was of that city of tomorrow, or that community of tomorrow. And the World Showcase literally being a World Showcase pavilion showing off different countries of the world. When they realized that neither of them were big enough to really stand on their own as a park, they combined the two. But World Showcase is pretty close to being a park unto itself. It's really almost a whole day by itself. You're immersed completely in the cultures of these other countries, their food, the atmosphere. Honestly, like I said, I just mentioned food. Food by itself is a show. In fact, next week we're going to do a show about just food, because the World Showcase is all about some serious food, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. So I'm going to do my best to try not to touch on food this week as much as possible, but let's face it, food is part of our culture, it's part of our lives. It might be hard to completely cut it out. So, let me start off by talking about it. World Showcase is stretched around a lagoon, right there behind the Future World area. So if you're coming in through Epcot's main gates, you see Spaceship Earth first, come around behind Spaceship Earth, you've got the fountain, and you've got the interventions sections on your either side. But if you keep walking straight from the gate back, you come across this lagoon. And stretched around the lagoon is the World Showcase, comprising several countries, staffed by nationals from their countries, helped, built, and designed by these countries for the most part. Morocco, for example, the King of Morocco sent his own artisans, his own builders over to help Disney Imagineers build the pavilion, because he wanted it to be an accurate representation of what Morocco is. The people who work in the Moroccan pavilion are Moroccan nationals. People who are from Morocco, they're citizens of Morocco, they're here on a visa to share their culture and their community with you. And that goes for most of the pavilions. Some of them, they started off that way and they've kind of backed off over the years. Norway is an example. It was originally very much, sponsored by Norway and run by Norway, but over recent years, they kind of backed off and no one wanted to take up the plate. Hence the reason Frozen is coming to Norway and Maelstrom went away. So, it's an amazing, amazing place to check out. It's, you've got Mexico, Italy, Germany, France, England, Morocco, China, Japan, Canada. They've even got an American pavilion. It is a chance to walk through a world vacation. Now, I don't know about you guys, I don't make a lot of money. My finances are very limited. I can't travel the world like I'd love to. But going through World Showcase is like taking a mini world tour. You're dealing with people from those countries. You're seeing things that are very unique to those countries. On top of that, they have rides and shows and things of that nature that are themed around those lands, around those pavilions, that give you a special flair. In Mexico, they have the Three Caballeros ride, where you kind of go through and you see Donald, and it's kind of like a Mexico version of It's a Small World. It's kind of cute. It's a boat ride, which goes around in front of a restaurant there. Canada has a Circle Vision show put on by Martin Shore. You've got China's Circle Vision show, which I'm going to talk about in a second. France has their own show. They have live entertainment. Over in China, they have the acrobats that are out in front of the pavilion. Sometimes you'll have people out in front of France. You've got live shows. They had the Lumberjack show out in front of Canada, but now they have, I believe it's a band that's out there now. England has live music. So there is tons and tons of entertainment that are very unique to their nationalities. There's actually a band out in front of Morocco that plays music that is very much in the theme of Morocco. So all types of entertainment around that World Showcase. I wanted to put off the China thing because China for me was one of my favorite pavilions. Not only from the imagery and the history walking through and seeing the army, the terracotta warriors and things like that, but the Circle Vision 3D video that you watch. Now, if you're curious what Circle Vision 3D is, or it's not really 3D, but Circle Vision is essentially you walk into a room and there's video screens completely surrounding you. And just literally a circle around you, 360-degree view. And on those screens is projected imagery from China or from whatever country, because Canada has a version of it, France has a version of it. And you stand in the middle, and you can basically just kind of turn around and look, and you're immersed in China. And it's kind of like Soarin'. It takes you through the country, showing you the sights, talking about the history of the people, the culture, what it means to be part of that world. And China, to me, actually brought, I love going around. I love Canada. I really enjoy Canada. We didn't get a chance to see France. I love Canada because Martin Short is hilarious. There are lines that I will not forget from that. But the China, for some reason, really touched me. The imagery was unbelievably beautiful. I mean, there's things about China you wouldn't normally know. Most people think about the political landscape because that's what we hear on the news. We see, oh, this was made in China, blah blah blah. But you really don't know what China's all about. You may have heard you've heard the Great Wall more than likely. But some of the sights, some of the natural wonders that are in that country that you would not know about necessarily, or you would never experience if you never travel there, are breathtaking. And having that circle vision 360, seeing it and feeling like you're immersed in those locations it touches one's heart. It really touches a person's heart. They have a immensely beautiful country, and it struck a chord with me. Meeting Mulan outside didn't hurt at all. I had a lot of fun meeting Mulan, although she looked like she was dying because it was hot and she had all her stuff on. But a lot of fun. Really enjoyed China. Another thing we did over at the American Pavilion, we went to listened to the Voices of Liberty, which was at the very beginning of that video you guys watched. We caught really the tail end of the performance, unfortunately, and we really didn't have time to swing back later. So next trip, I definitely want to try to catch a full performance. But it's all a cappella. There's no music being piped in. It's all from their voices, and they have amazing talents that are involved with the Voices of Liberty. So that was an amazing thing to watch. One of the things we did walking through the pavilions is you can buy this kit. It is the passport kit. Okay, it comes with a passport. It comes with a button. All right. It also comes with stickers. So you notice all these little stickers on these pages. All right, they come on a little sticker book, and as you go to each country, what you do is you find the KitKat stations, and they stamp your book. They write a little thing in your book in their language, and then you can put your stickers in. Okay, it's a little pricey, but it's cool because what it does is it forces you to go into every single country and talk to people that are from that country. Now, they also have a free version out there. I don't know if they have it anymore now that Duffy has been removed from the meet and greets, but they have a Duffy bear. It's like a little paper stick figure, which will stamp and do the same thing on that. But this is a cool keepsake. Now, a little story about the passport. We bought the passport, and we went through the entire World Showcase. And last country, right before we're about to finally finish up the passport, we sat it down. I think we went to England, and my wife was shopping around, and we were doing the bear also. So I was coloring my bear, and we had the passport sitting on the table, and we got distracted, and we left the passport in England. Made it all the way over to Canada. Went to go pull it out for Canada, and realized the passport was gone. Canada was the last one on our list. We were heartbroken. I hauled tail back to England. I tore England apart looking for it. It was gone. Somebody stole it. We hoped it had been turned in. Nah, it hadn't been turned in. Guest services were amazing. They realized that we got burned on it. They knew how expensive. They're like $20 for the passport and the whole kit. They gave me what they call a guest recovery certificate, and I was able to go in and get a brand new passport. But this was at the end of the day. Keep in mind, we've been traveling the World Showcase all day long, and it took all day to get this thing filled out. So my daughter and I inaugurated the Passport Challenge. What we did, starting in Canada, we had 45 minutes till our dinner reservation. The distance around that lagoon, from what I understand, is about 1.3 miles. Okay? So in 45 minutes, well, actually 30 minutes, it took us 30 minutes to do it. Her and I sprinted around the World Showcase. I'm a fat man. Sprinting is not my... Sprinting is okay. Long distance running is not in my nature, but we did it. Her and I hauled tail around the World Showcase, and we were able to refill out an entire passport in 30 minutes. Now, we were benefited by the fact that we went through the World Showcase already, and we knew exactly where all the KitKat stations were, because we'd already been to them all. So it wasn't a matter of, oh, we're walking through the pavilions trying to find these things. We knew where they were at. So we were able to do it. So there it is. The new Epcot Passport Challenge. Can you fill out your passport in 30 minutes or less? If you've done that before, leave a comment in the comment section. Or if you do it, leave a comment or send me a message. I'd like to know how many people can knock out an entire passport within 30 minutes. So, that was a tiring afternoon. My son and my wife waited in Italy because we were going to have dinner in Italy, and they just waited for my daughter and I to come back. And like I said, we knocked it out. We got back in time for reservation, had our dinner, and it was fantastic. We both joke about it because it was wild to run through Epcot. So, and we weren't doing the marathon, which is even more weirder. So, we filled out the entire passport. Now, we did the stickers after, because there's no way we're going to have time to sticker while we're running. But we got everything filled. And so now I have a completed passport that will be going into our scrapbook. So, that is the passport challenge. So, one of the things I definitely suggest is while you're going through World Showcase, really explore each of the pavilions. Take your time. I mean, I know there's a lot of shops and stuff like that, but there's a lot of details, a lot of cultural details and history in each of these pavilions. And talking with the nationals from their countries and learning a little bit about their culture, it is an enriching experience. It's an educational experience. One that I honestly, Epcot's World Showcase is one of my favorite places in Walt Disney World now. I truly love it. So I hope you guys check it out and do it to that degree as well. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about their closing show that's in the lagoon right there in the World Showcase. I'm not showing it because I'm going to close out Epcot like I'm closing out the other parks with their closing show. But Illuminations, for me, it's one of my favorite shows. I know they're talking about replacing it at some point soon. Between the effects, which I'll talk a little more about it, in the final episode of this Epcot series. But the music from it is very international in nature. Now, the first time I experienced it was when I was during the Millennium Celebration, in which this show was very much tied into that Millennium Celebration. And the music is very international in nature, and talking about us as a people on the earth. And for me, it's so fitting, that show, because it ties into World Showcase. And it shows all these different cultures and all these different beliefs and ways of living, but we're all one people. And I think it's inspirational. I think it says a lot about what we could be as a world if we would just get our heads out of our butts. So, Epcot's World Showcase, an amazing place to check out. I know a lot of people kind of glaze over it, just go eat there, or they just kind of touch on it because it was too educational. But remember, there are things for kids to do to keep kids interested. And honestly, there's enough between food and rides, and there's not a lot of rides, but between the food and the few rides, there's character interactions, meet and greets, like Donald in Mexico was one of the meet and greets. You got Mulan. There's plenty out there in the World Showcase for everybody, be it children, young adults, older adults. It's a wonderful experience, and honestly, for me, a Walt Disney World vacation would be incomplete without going there. So, that's my little spiel on World Showcase. Next week, we're going to talk about food. Okay, I'm going to talk about specifically food in the World Showcase and food in Epcot in general, because there's actually food in Future World we're going to talk about too. Kind of give little mini dining reviews on what we ate there and what we thought of it. And then the next week we're going to do just kind of a wrap-up, talking about our favorite things we did at Epcot, least favorite things we had at Epcot, and so on. And remember, this is going to be the last week I'm going to call for it. I will be doing some major changes. Well, I shouldn't say major changes. I'll be making changes to Mondays with Mickey after we finish up this Epcot series. And I want your feedback, because this vlog is for you guys. I love making it, but it's for you guys. So if you have suggestions or ideas, things you'd like to see, things you'd like to see less of, or ideas, please share them with me. I've already gotten some feedback from some of you guys, and I'm definitely incorporating that into the changes I'm making. So just shoot me a message either here on YouTube. You can shoot me a message on Twitter or Facebook. Just look me up. I'm Michael Knigge. The last name is spelled Knigge. It's my name on all three places. So come hunt me down. I'd love to hear from you. Get your thoughts, things you like, things you don't. And we'll try to make this as special a show for you guys as possible. So I'm going to end it as I do every week. Walt said it best. I hope we never lose sight of one thing. This was all started by a mouse. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.